Hey everyone, Sensor here, and welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. So, Klee is finally here, and Klee is just as good as I had hoped she would be. Now, she does have a few tricks. Her regular attacks do not go or do the same thing as regular Catalyst users. She has a few mechanics to deal with, like her charged attack and her little spark, but yeah, in this video I'm going to go over all of that, how to use her well, the different sets, and other things that you should be using to build her. So let's get on to it. Alright, so let's start with her attacks and talents and stuff, and I'll kind of show you how she works, because you can definitely get more out of her. You can just spam her, but she actually has some mechanics you need to know about. So first of all, her regular attack, Kaboom, is her throwing bombs. It's a pretty unique attack for Catalyst users. It's a short range attack. She's literally throwing bombs. Now, if they're close enough, then it will kind of home in on them, but you're not going to be able to attack like high in the air. Like most Catalyst users have these pretty long ranged homing attacks. Well, that's not Klee. She uses more short to mid range attacks. But her charge attack does a lot of damage. Like look at that, 209% charge attack damage. And I'll show you in a little bit how her passive work. Her charge attack is really important. You're gonna want to utilize that a lot for Klee. Now her actual elemental skill, Jumpy Dumpty, is this big bomb that literally bounces around, and what'll happen is once it explodes, it'll split into mines. So the third bounce it'll explode, and if you throw it at people, it'll keep like bouncing them up as well, and then it explodes in little mines, and then the mines will be put on the ground, and when they explode, or when the enemy goes up to them, then they'll explode and do damage. So the actual Jumpy Dumpty damage, as you can see, 133%. The mine damage isn't as much, but there's going to be a lot of mines on the ground. And the best thing about this ability, which will work well with her set that I'm going to show you and other stuff, is it has two charges. So that's really good. And then her elemental burst or ultimate is Sparks and Splash. Basically, it summons these like sparks that kind of follow her, and they'll periodically attack the enemy. So you can see it's 53%, last for 10 seconds, and they're just like these lasers that come out. Her Sparks and Splash Elemental Burst only works while she is on the field, so do not switch her out after using it until it's over. Only lasts for 10 seconds, but yeah. Now for her two attack passives, Pounding Surprise makes whenever Jumpty Dumpty or normal attacks deal damage, then Klee has a 50% chance to obtain an explosive spark. And this is really big. This is what I was going back to, the Kaboom charged attack. This explosive spark will cause no stamina to be used and increase the charged attack damage by 50%. And I'll show you that in just a second. But real quick, her second passive ability makes it so that when a charged attack is a crit, all party members gain 2 elemental energy. So that's why it's good to have crit attack, or crit rate for her, because she'll be able to get energy, which makes her and her teammates use their elemental burst more. Now back to this. I'll show you this real quick. So right now, here's my Klee. As you can see, there's nothing really around her besides like my buffs. So I'll hit an attack. It's 50% chance. So now you see this little clove. This is explosive spark. So now when I use my charged attack, it won't use up any stamina, and it'll it'll do 50% more damage. Shield out. Okay, now I can do my 50% extra damage and no stamina. So yeah, she hits pretty hard, and you pretty much just keep doing her attacks and skills until you get that clove, and then that's when you do the charge attack. And the charge attack does so much damage. So on like the little hilly churls, like I was doing like constant 9 to 10k. So now let's go ahead and talk about her stats. Like what kind of stats do you want? What kind of weapons, artifacts, and stuff work for her? So I have the like 39% crit rate and 107% crit damage. So for the weapon, I am currently using the Widsith. It has crit damage, so that's an extra 50% crit damage, and it's also pretty nice because for 10 seconds when she gets on the field, she'll randomly get either attack increase, elemental damage increase, or elemental mastery. And I was able to get a refinement while I was trying to get Klee. So the 5-star weapon and the 5-star banner is really good because it has crit rate. I forgot exactly what it does, but yeah, you want crit rate for sure. Crit rate and crit damage, but crit rate more so because of the fact that she gets those bonuses whenever she crits. And this one will also work as attack percentage. So, attack, crit rate, crit damage, but I would actually lean more towards crit rate if you can choose that. Now for artifacts, I've tried out some different sets. The only ones that I could actually try out at a high level were the Crimson Witch set and then the two-piece Gladiator, two-piece Berserker because I had that on Beto. So, it takes a lot. So, obviously I can't fully test every set, but I will tell you what I've experienced and what sets can potentially be good for her. So, the Crimson Witch set increases her pyro damage by 15% just for the two set bonus. And that's great because, all her damage is pyro damage. But what's really good about this is the four-piece set will increase her overload and burning damage by 40%, and then her vaporize and melt damage by 15%. So, her elemental reactions. But then, whenever you use an elemental skill, it'll increase the two-piece set effect by 50% for 10 seconds, and it stacks 3 times. So that means, and it's really good for her because, again, she has 2 charges of Jumpy Dumpty, and you can get it back pretty quickly. So you can automatically just use her ability twice, and boom, that's a 100% increase to her set bonus, which is 30%. And then I believe that means that at 3 stacks it gets to 45%. So that's a pretty huge bonus on top of the extra damage that you're getting for your elemental reactions. And this set that I have, her attack. So my attack right now with her is only like 1361. I had like over 2000 attack with the other set, but I was able to do more damage overall just because of the bonus damage that I was getting from Pyro and the elemental reactions, especially if you have a team that can do elemental reactions pretty well. So I think that for me, I like the Crimson Witch set the best, but of course, two-piece Berserker will work with the crit rate. Definitely want crit rate. So if you have really low crit rate, you might want to do Berserker. Do not try and farm the Crimson Witch set unless you're 40 plus, because you want to try and get these 5 stars. So I was lucky enough to get 2 5 stars, and I actually have a decent goblet, but I'll show that in a second. So going to the individual artifacts, obviously the flower and feather have set set main stats. So you want to go for your bonus stats, attack, crit. Any of these will really work, but like crit rate, in my opinion, is what you want the most, followed by like attack percentage, crit damage percentage. But energy recharge and elemental mastery, all of those are going to be useful for her because then you use her, elemental burst more. Her elemental mastery will cause her to do even more damage, especially if you have the Crimson Witch set. So like this is a pretty good one. Same thing with the feather. You're going to want. I was not lucky enough to get 4 good stats, but elemental mastery and especially crit rate are really good. Now when it comes to the hourglass, cup, and crown, I would say you want attack, pyro, and then either crit rate or attack or crit damage. Either one of those will work for the crown. But definitely attack percentage. I had a pretty decent 4-star, which is end time, because it's got crit rate, elemental mastery, energy recharge, and of course it's got attack percentage on it. Now for the goblet, attack percentage would work, but if you're using the Crimson Witch set, pyro damage is definitely better. So I have a pyro damage, but it's the wrong set piece. And I only have 4 pieces right now. So I'm trying to farm for a hat that has attack percentage or crit rate or crit damage. Then I can put that on, and then I can put this on. So you definitely would want to get pyro damage if it's possible, but the odds of actually getting that are pretty low. And then of course for the hat, I'm using a crit rate one because you want crit rate. So if you have low crit rate, try and get crit rate on your hat. If not, attack crit damage will also work. You can probably get away with having more crit rate or crit damage because of the extra attack that you're getting. Now, besides Gladiator and Berserker and the Crimson Witch set, another set that can be useful would be the instructor set, because that gives you a pretty decent elemental mastery, and of course after using elemental skill your entire party's elemental mastery goes up, and because she can use her skill so much, that's a pretty good set. So martial artist isn't a bad option either because her charge attack is so strong, so increasing charge attack damage by 15%, and then after using a skill increasing it by another 25%, which again has some synergy with the fact that she can use her skill so often. That's a pretty that makes her charge attack pretty strong. So I wasn't able to test those out because I don't have, high level ones, but these instructor and martial artists are potential useful ones, especially if you're not high enough to farm the Crimson Witch set or the Gladiator or Berserker set. But just a recap over the artifacts, I would say the best ones to use for her would be Crimson Witch, 4-piece, 2-piece Berserker, and 2-piece Gladiator, or a 4-piece Instructor or 4-piece Martial Artist. Those being the lowest ones. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. I don't have any constellations, so I'm not going to go over that. But that's everything you need to know. Klee is very strong, and I was saving up. She's not as high as I would like, but I was saving up so I was able to get her to ascend at least to 5 stars, and I have some pretty decent gear, and she's doing this much damage even without some of her artifacts being maxed. So yeah, if you liked the video, please give a like and subscribe for future videos. And as always, thanks for watching.